Welcome to Black and Gold Digital Edition, a behind-the-scenes look at your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Happy New Year and welcome to Week 17 of our digital show. I'm Jay Pushka alongside Mike Fenner and Kent Urbanski. Kent, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Mike, Happy New Year.
Sir, Happy New Year.
Guys, it's hard to believe we've almost made it through an entire 2021 NFL regular season. Tough loss for the Steelers in Week 16. Kent, you went to Arrowhead for the game. Boy, just no life from this team. And again, they can't score in the first half.
No, and if you can't score, you can't win. You know, and again, looking up at the scoreboard, they have time of possession up there. Again, Steelers getting double the time of possession. Not a good recipe to win a football game, especially on a road against one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Besides that, what was the experience like for you?
Oh, you know, anytime you get to go to a historic place like that, that's loud, that's raucous, that's you know, kind of old school, I like to say. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I just wish the game would have been a little bit better to enhance that experience. But, you know, it was what it was, and seems to be the trend of the Steelers football team this year.
And Mike, from afar, it just seems like the Steelers just don't have any more answers. You know, they're running out of gas, but yet they find themselves still in the playoff mix with a couple weeks to go.
Yeah, the good news is, although it's a tough loss to come off of, like you said, the opportunities are still there. If they can just get a little bit of help, one or two results, and they take care of their own business, they could find themselves not only in the playoffs, but hosting a playoff game. You know, they have AFC North aspirations still out there. They're just going to need some help maybe from those Chiefs against Cincinnati for starters, because you lose the tiebreaker currently with Cincinnati. So if you can have them lose twice, beat the Browns, you're in the mix come Week 18. You never know.
Guys, so much talk, too, going into this matchup against the Browns. It's going to be emotional because it's going to be one of their rivals, but also just the lingering talk of Roethlisberger possibly retiring at the end of the season. This could be his final home game. How does Ben handle the next few days going into the kickoff on Monday night, just from the emotional standpoint?
Well, of course it's going to be emotional for him if it is indeed his last game. And I think he wants to go out on a better note than he ended it last year, you know, with the loss in the playoff game to Cleveland. So I think the energy is going to be there. The support is going to be there for him. And I think you're going to see a lot better play from this team. I don't know. It's so hard to put a pulse on the way this team has been each week. You know, they just came out so lifeless, it seemed to me, in Kansas City, almost like they were conceding defeat already in warm-ups. To me, there was no energy there. But I think that's going to change a little bit in this game, and hopefully that he can ride off of that. You know, ride off into the Heinz Field sunset with a victory.
And Mike, offensively, I mean, the first half has been just a major bugaboo all season long, but over the last 5 or 6 games, no touchdowns. They've scored a total of 9 points. I mean, the sign could be there if they get off to a decent start and actually put some points on the board. Do you feel confident that it's going to be a different night for the Black and Gold?
Well, first of all, yeah, 5 straight games, no first half touchdowns, hadn't happened since 1940. I mean, that's a really tough number to chew on. But like Kent said, I think the crowd feeding off of what this could mean for Roethlisberger and for this team, I think they're going to come out and fire on all cylinders. They have to have this game, last home regular season game. I just expect a lot better performance from this team. I think they're going to get some points in the first half. I think they're going to play from in front. And if I were the Cleveland Browns, I would not want to be coming to Heinz Field on Monday night knowing what's potentially at stake here between Pittsburgh trying not to get eliminated and then also trying to preserve that last win potentially at home for Ben Roethlisberger. I just would not want to be going there from Cleveland.
And they're going to have to let Ben have control of the reins in this one. And you know.
Start that 2-minute drill right at the start of the game.
Exactly.
Right. You know, hold nothing back in this one and see what happens.
And there's a good enough chance Matt Canada might not be back regardless, and this could be Ben's last home game. I think the combination of those two things, these fans just want to see 7 go out there and rip it.
Yep, I agree. And if they do that, I mean, then you have a little bit more of a chance. But these scripted plays coming right in, they're not working, and of course that offensive line is really not giving him any time.
No.
Even with the little gimmicky things that they're trying, there's no time to execute, and I'm tired of hearing that phrase being used as well. That we're just not executing well. To me, the way they built this team at the beginning of the season. When you build a house, you start with the foundation and not the roof. And they did not address what was going on on those offensive line or defensive line.
Yeah, both lines all
yeah,
season. I mean, we've heard
yeah,
Mike
and
Tomlin talk about it, that we
Yeah.
just keep getting beat bad up front.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Cam Hayward, that D-line is just atrocious.
Right, and granted they lost guys, Alualu
Sure.
and Tuitt weren't there, and that kind of hurt. But there was no replacement there for those guys, So it's been a struggle from the get-go to try to, to patchwork both of these lines and make something work. And here we are already toward the end of the season, and there's been no. I don't know. There's been no consistency on either side of the ball that shows that they're getting better. It needs to be addressed in the offseason.
And no urgency either.
Yeah.
Where there's, like you mentioned, with the game going into Kansas City, just no fire, no energy,
No. Well, when you're pulling guys off practice squads and
Right.
interjecting players here, it's not good for heading into playoff football when you should be firing on all cylinders, not going back the other way. And I think that's where the Steelers are going. But coming into Monday night, you might see a whole different team that almost the team that showed up against the Titans.
And Mike, we've seen some magic at Heinz Field over the years, especially with Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback. But even this year, finding a way to beat Seattle, finding a way to beat the Chicago Bears, can they find a way to beat Cleveland and still keep those hopes alive?
Yeah, you saw some other examples. Even the Denver game, it came down to that 4th and goal stop. I mean, they have shown moments where in all these 7 wins, it's 8 or fewer points, the margin. I mean, it's a thin margin for error, but they can get it done in these close games. It tells you a lot about the fortitude of what they have. And even though maybe they've lacked in terms of having some injuries to deal with, some replacement players, some situations like that they've had to overcome, they still can win these close games. I don't think they've forgotten that playoff game, too, from a year ago, being down 20-0 on their home field. That does not happen against the Cleveland Browns. It doesn't really happen against anybody, what we saw in that first quarter in the Super Wild Card a year ago. So I don't think they've forgotten that. And the one thing I'm concerned about, though, is with the offense trying to get going in the first half, ball control. Nick Chubb. Tough runner. I mean, the Browns' time of possession could be an issue. They could really hold on to the football in the first half. So Pittsburgh's got to get them behind the sticks, not let them win first down, get them into 3rd and long, and make Baker Mayfield uncomfortable. I think that's going to be the biggest key, is just trying to stay ahead of the schedule defensively, not let Cleveland pick up these 3 to 4 yard chunks the whole way down the field, be methodical, and hold on to the ball the whole half with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt company.
Yeah, and Ernest Johnson. I mean,
That's
they've got a
right.
3-headed
So
monster
many
out of the
running backs.
backfield. And then on the other side of it, Kent, you got Myles Garrett and that defense. They're playing pretty well.
Yeah, they are. And you know that they're going to come into Pittsburgh. And they're not going to lay down for Pittsburgh. They still have
a shot to win the division.
Absolutely. I mean, and this is what I hate about this right now, just because the Steelers are not a playoff football team right now. And when you look at teams that are on the upswing like the Dolphins, those are teams that you say, wow, they're trending in the right direction this time of year. They're firing on all cylinders. They deserve to be in playoff discussion. Not a team who goes down 30 points on the road in December. They shouldn't be in playoff discussion. However, here we are, and anything could happen. I've seen stranger things happen, and let's get this win first and see what happens, right?
Like the coaches say, 1 week at a time, and we'll see how it all unfolds on Monday night. Should be a raucous atmosphere at Heinz Field as the Steelers take on the Browns, with the winner possibly getting a playoff spot, the loser completely done for 2021. All right, guys, thanks so much. For Ken Urbanski and Mike Fenner, I'm Jay Pushkar. Again, Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next week for Black and Gold Digital Edition.